Hey everyone, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Tom Numbers here, how you all doing? And as you can see, the sun is out today, which is amazing because we've not had good sunshine for quite a while, but today, dare I say, it feels like a beautiful spring day. Almost a little bit summery. In terms of the brightness, it's amazing. So I, for one, am very grateful for that because I miss the sun. I miss the sun. And there's a lot of people out today because the sun is out. It's a natural tendency for people to want to come out by the beach, come and see the water. So something's caught my attention in terms of water. Obviously there's a Q post that talks about watch the water. And President Trump spoke either last night or the night before, and he spoke about Salt Lake, Utah. Now I've spoken a lot about Utah because there's the Mormon faith. I know a lot of people out there. You had the shooting of Charlie Kirk out there. I was even talking to a friend about Utah and the Utah Valley University last night. Just a reminder, so all the stuff with Epstein, the reason Prince Andrew had to tell everyone he doesn't sweat and that he had pizza at Pizza Express in Woking. I did a video on this. Well, I've done a lot on Woking even a couple of years ago now, but when Charlie Kirk, that incident took place, I tied all that together and I came up with the numbers that Jeffrey Epstein cloning facility is 322, which is the number that Skull and Bones use. And in Woking, the big A road that goes past it is A322. And where the incident with Charlie Kirk took place, that was the Utah Valley University, which is 322. Now, I haven't been to Utah for a few years, but I have been out there a couple of times during COVID. No, once during COVID. I've been out to the States a couple of times. And I was saying there with friends that were open to hearing what I was saying. And the waters of the Great Salt Lake were receding. They were dropping. And it seems like they're continually doing that. Now, what's making that drop? What's making the water drop? It shouldn't be. So there's something, it seems quite artificial, the reason that's happening. And now that President Trump is highlighting it, I think he's letting those that are awake realize what's going on. And so there's been a lot of DUMBS, a lot of activity under Utah, hence the earthquake. Someone's wearing a 543 over there. I'll have to look at that number, 543. But the earthquake in the first week of COVID was a demolition of DUMBS underneath. It wasn't a real earthquake. And that's why Temple Square was closed, and that's why it's been renovated, but they're shrinking it down, so they're taking away, they're reducing it, which you reduce something isn't a sign of a prospering thing, you know. But in numbers, when President Trump said we have to save the Great Salt Lake, so Great Salt Lake is 132, which is Princess Diana. It's astrology, it's also quadrillion, it's Bridge Street, which is the street that goes over towards Westminster Abbey in London, and Parliament Square. And it's it's also JFK Jr. is alive. But yeah, 132, Great Salt Lake. Salt Lake City is 138, Donald Trump. The Book of Mormon's 185, Donald John Trump. Mormon's 88, Trump 88. So he knows the numbers, and the numbers have been fought after by both sides. And watch the space with Utah. I had said before that, you know, that will get revealed at some point with Charlie Kirk. The stuff with Woking will get revealed. And I did a video on Twitter about that back in, I guess, September time, just after Charlie Kirk. And I came up with the numbers on Jeffrey Epstein cloning facility, and then it's in the files. And we can talk about it here on YouTube because it's in the files, it's in the public domain, it's in the news, it's everywhere. So there'll be more disclosure on that. Disclosure 125, the number's 125, you see. So that the numbers can tell the truth. 125, disclosure 125, dark to light 125, time travel 125, John Kennedy 125. Young Living corporate offices in their lavender field is in only Utah. Yep, that's it. So the DUMBS are being filled, hence the water's going down, you see. So that's, there might be some other things as well with it, but that's the general feel of it. And the reason Utah's been a hotbed for it is because the Mormon missionaries are disciplined, they're young, they believe in God, and the Mormon mission is a bit like the military. It's very structured. You're up at 6:30, you study for 2 hours, you get ready, you're out by 9:30, and depending on how hard you wanted to work, you'd be back at 9:30. Sometimes I was back at 10:30 because we were just tearing it up out there. In Scotland 88, Edinburgh 88, Scotland, Edinburgh 176, Back to the Future 176. So all of that, yeah, so they come back and then they recruit them. Yeah. Put it this way, there were missionaries that I knew that for all intents and purposes were pretty average, didn't really have any exceptional talent, didn't really blow any numbers out of the water in terms of doing their job. They were just kind of steady eddies, plodders. But I've met some of them since, and some of them have been put in certain positions which kind of defies their talent, skill set. And I remember before I knew this about the CIA, I did wonder, I was like, how's that happened? But now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Some of them live out on other islands. Some of them are well connected with places that you'd never think they'd be connected. So, but they've been recruited. I can see that. The new prophet hoax, Dallin hoax. They say, I've had people in Utah, locals, tell me that he's CIA because he was fast-tracked. He suddenly became. Well, he didn't go on a mission. He wasn't a bishop. He wasn't a state president. I think he was a state mission president, which is kind of not really very big calling. It's not a state president. It's not the same as a state president. And then he became something in BYU, and then all of a sudden was the BYU president, and then went fast track to the Quorum of the 12, and now he's the prophet. So, and you know that they got sacked because President Trump visited them before COVID, and it was part of the capitulation tour. So, yeah. President Trump said he's going to restore the lake, but there'll be other things that come out about it. Remember, only a week or so into the fire horse, well, a week ago, yeah, we've been in for 1 week. We've already had the stuff with Prince Andrew. There's been other ones. There seems to be a Norwegian former Prime Minister. Seems like he tried to take his own life in the last day or two. There was that Danish son of a Danish princess or queen. Someone else did something at the weekend. So it's happening, folks. It's happening, and it will reach a point where it's like a snowball and it covers the media forever, you know. Well, forever, for all intents and purposes, until the job's done. So, yeah, it's a really exciting, great time to be alive. Also, as well, check out my locals. So yesterday I didn't do a show here on YouTube, but if you want to join my locals, you can. That supports my work. So go to my locals. The link is in the post. It's in my post section on YouTube. You go to locals, you can get a few minutes for free and then watch the rest of the video if you want to join. And just so you know as well, so people that are subscribers on my Substack, that's if you want to be a producer for my book when that's out, your name will be, you'll be credited with your name in the book. And also there's a private chat just for my paid subscribers, which I interact with, so you can join that. If you want the videos, join my locals, and those on Substack, if they want to get access to the videos, you can always just email me and I can see what I could do for you in regards to that. So but yeah, let's build up my locals community, and you'll get regular weekly videos. Sometimes you get 2, but you definitely get 1 each week. It's usually on a Monday. I did that yesterday. So there you go, folks. There you go. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, he is. He is. So I've got an interesting thing about Oakes. So I met him in England. Me and my brother met him at a state conference in Leicester years ago, and everyone was all excited to go and meet Oakes. And for some reason, he energetically hated me and my brother. My brother just finished a mini mission. I'd done a full-time mission, and for some reason, he could see me and my brother's light, because he's the antithesis of it. He had a real adverse reaction. He hated us for some reason, and we remember that. We're like, why was he like that with us? We didn't notice he was like that with others, but he was like that with me and my brother. And me and my brother are awake, and so that's the thing. So the evil ones have known who the light ones are. Yeah, hoax. The other thing with hoax is they made him wear a black flat cap, so he's a black hat. You know, they made him wear that, and he had to put it out on his Twitter. So it'll be good when hoax comes down, and it's CIA. There's a DUM under. There's a few DUMS in Utah. One that I've heard is in that Provo, Orem area. I don't know if it's probably the same one. I don't know how far that is away from the Utah Valley University, but the Utah Valley University in numbers is 322, which is the Skull and Bones number that they use. The A road goes past Woking is 322, and like I said in the Sonny Hayes F1 film, they're in the pretend F1 character headquarters, but it's actually physically in Woking. The real place they filmed that is Woking, which is the McLaren location. That's the headquarters, and that's in Woking. And McLaren's the racing team, and so yeah, Apex GP. So that was the team that they basically used Apex GP. They used the McLaren building in real time for the film. And there's a part in the middle of the film where she says, at the Dutch corner, you'll be going 322 kilometers per hour. So 322 Skull and Bones. So they're telling you right there in Woking. So that's 2 things of 322. And I did a video, a couple of videos about Woking a couple of years ago that went viral about 322 and the Skull and Bones. And then you got another location, which is the one in the Utah Valley University, 322. There's another one in Genk Football Club in Belgium. Their address is 322, the number that they're at. So they're dotted all around, you see. They're under stadiums, they're under, you know, shopping malls, they're under all kinds of places. And they've been cleared up, but now we're seeing the aftermath. We're seeing the reveal now. We're seeing the disclosure. So hey Diane. Well, Paul's with me all the time, so I get things from him all the time, and he helps me with the numbers. So, but when I'll get another one from him very soon, probably within minutes. So I'll let you know. So thanks for that. What's that, Nadine? You talk about Four Sands, France, Morwat, USA. Okay. What's Morwat? Is that a place in France or a place in USA? I don't know. 131 DUMS in USA. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did, Leslie. I did trigger him. I totally triggered him. I triggered him. So I can't wait for it. I can't wait for him to go down. Yeah. They need to know. I mean, President Trump said the Utah people are spectacular. I need to do the numbers on the word spectacular, but as I've said, they're great people, but they've been hoodwinked like everyone else, and that's got to come down. Every nefarious, evil thing has to come down, and Utah is no different. So that's why President Trump's poking the bear. He's pointing the finger at it, as the Trump is called to do so. The Trump of the last days is Donald and his family. So I've got my AHA Halo discount available right now if you want to get one. Here you go. Can you see it in the sun? That might be better. There you go. Scale of frequencies. You can choose any number of them, put it on a wealth setting, and you get a discount. So click the link below. It's about 3 or 4 links down. You get $30 off and free international shipping. And I carry this everywhere with me. You know what happened today? I got in the car and I'd forgotten to take it. So I pulled up, went back in, picked it up, because I always feel better having it with me. So anyway, I'll see you very soon, folks. God bless you. Take care.